Hello YouTube, it is I, TFI Wilderness, bringing to you another KTRT review. Yes, got some more KTRT bots this month, and today I'm doing a review on a junior version, as in a smaller version, of a figure that I've already reviewed, and that is this guy. Now this is Turning Mecard HG Phoenix. Now this was review number 85, and I reviewed it on the 15th of September 2016. So I've had this guy for quite a while, and as you can see, it's a red sports car, and it turns into a red bird of prey. Really like this figure; it's really cool. But then I heard that, well, a couple of things. One, I heard they was doing a junior version, as in a little version of this. And they was also doing a repaint of this in a black and gold livery, and they're calling it Turning Mecard W, which was season 2 figures, which they sort of got an upgrade and a repaint, and they repainted this figure into a black and gold livery. Now, I'm just going to see if I can hopefully grab a picture of the black and gold one and show it to you now. So you can see it looks really, really cool, and I really want to get it, but as I've already got a version of the mould, I'm kind of reluctant to go for it as much as I want it, because I don't really go in for repaints, even though I do have a number of moulds where I have multiple repaints of them. I don't do it as a rule, and I like to stick with one version or the other. It tends to be like the standard version, especially when it comes to Korean toys like this. That black gold one looks so blooming cool. I just want to get one, so I'm thinking about getting it. But anyway, they said they was doing the junior version, and my theory was that I was hoping that they was going to do the black gold repaint of the junior version and doing a Turning Mecard W Junior Phoenix, but alas, they haven't. So I've gone ahead and I've bought Junior. So just to prove a point, here's a size comparison. Here's the big one, here's the small one. As you can see, yeah, it's smaller. It's not that much smaller. I suppose you could say this is a leader class car and this is deluxe, I suppose. I don't know. I haven't really got a car to hand to give you a size comparison. But anyway, so just as a comparison, out the back, there we have the car mode, and it's a smaller version of the original car, but it's just it's virtually exactly the same. It's got painted front lights instead of transparent lenses like on the original. Blacked out windows. It's got some painted in light detail on the back, which is kind of similar, although this has got a few more sort of panel lines that get in the way and some hinge joints, so they haven't. There's a few sort of gaps in the paintwork, but it's got pin wheels all round. It sort of rolls because there's not much ground clearance underneath. Some of these bits sort of hit the ground, so it doesn't roll particularly well. But it's got pin wheels, so if it wasn't for that fact, then it would roll quite well. It's glossy plastic for the most part. It's not super glossy. It's sort of not exactly satin finish, but it's reasonably glossy. Red, yellow paint apps, black windows, orange. It's a good solid car. And before we go any further, just a quick look at the box. So here's the box, and this is a typical junior box. It's got a window. It's got sort of artwork on all sides. Now the only thing about this is, now you look at the front of the box, and they've got a product shot of the toy. So it's the toy. They've taken a photograph of it. Now you go onto the back, and they've got the same product shot of the toy, and yet the image of Phoenix they've used is a CGI render of the character from the show rather than a photograph of the actual figure. Now that thing is a bit of a cheat. And when we get to the robot mode or the Phoenix mode, you'll see why. But anyway, it looks really cool in these graphics. It's got lots of colours and paint apps on it, so keep a note of that. And it's got the same image on the sides, and yeah, it's a fairly typical box. They do come with instructions, but that's not all I can say about that. So let's look at this now. Obviously, there's not much more I can say about the car mode. It's a red coupe car. Kind of looks like the design of the car. Kind of looks like Generation Skids. Similar sort of design to his car mode. That's what I think, anyway. But there we go. There's Phoenix. Now to transform Phoenix, quite easy, because obviously it's a simplified version of this. Now you take the front, and it all unclips and comes up like that, and then inside there's a little tail piece which flicks out. So you've got that. Then you take the sides, pull the sides out, and extend the wings. So you've got that. Then going underneath, flip down the tailgate, and there's this there's a notch on the top there, and there's a groove in there, and you just bring that down and clip that into place. That holds that in. Then you get the legs, bring the legs down, fold out the talons, maybe bring the legs forward a bit, bring down the head, and then it's just a simple matter of positioning the wings however you want. So there we have Phoenix in robot mode, and bit of a scrawny crow, to be honest. I mean, it's got this really thin bit here, and the top of the car just forms one big piece for the tail. Now they have simplified the engineering on this for this smaller version. Now I'm going to transform the big one into Falcon mode, so you can get a comparison between the two. So just give me a moment. Right, so finally got it into Falcon mode, and there we have size comparison between Junior and the HG Phoenix. Now, if you look at them from side view, you see the tail section on HG is formed from part of the roof, but the front half of the car folds up round over the shoulders of the bird, and then the tail just comes round and forms a tail. Whereas on this version, because it's been simplified, the front of the car is just hanging out the back here, and this little tail piece flips out, so it's got a much longer tail with more kibble on the end of it. Again, the talons, they're a little more talon-like on the HG, and then the Junior one, they're I don't know what they look like, chicken feet more than talons. But yeah, paint apps. Now, Big Phoenix has got these white pieces here. It's got white pieces on the ends of the wings. It's got all these bits around here. It's got a fair bit of paint on the body. Junior, on the other hand, not so much. A little bit of head round the collar, a little bit of paint around the collar and the face. There's some white on the tops of the wings, but nothing underneath. Again, just lacking a few paint apps here and there. It's a lot of red plastic. And now the other thing is now one thing I've noticed about this. I mean, let's go through the articulation quickly. It's got these ratchet swivels on the wings, and it's got these double jointed hinge. It's got a hinge there and a hinge there. Hinge goes from there to there, and that goes all the way around like that. Now you can angle the wings pretty much however you want, apart from angling them backwards and forwards. There's obviously there's a joint there which can be manipulated, but I have noticed that these pin joints on these knuckles are a bit loose. They don't really hold the wings up that well when you're doing a static pose. But anyway, then you've got the legs. They've got these joints that come out like that. Ratchet joint that goes backwards and forwards, and then there's a little joint there that goes to about 90 degrees. The talons also can move. Well, the rear talon can go backwards and forwards a little bit. The front talon can go up and down. So it's got a bit of motion. The tail, you could probably angle this bit up and down, but there's not really much you can do with the tail since it's one solid piece. So yeah, now I will admit it's kind of disappointing, this figure. I would have preferred to have had a black and gold repaint of this version rather than having to go out and get a black and gold repaint of the HG version. Yeah, it's still all right. It's just, now this is the kicker, right? With this toy, with the junior version. Now, I paid just over 25 quid for this toy. All right. Now, the thing is, currently, you can get the HG version for less than the price of the junior. No word of a lie. If you go on eBay and put in Turning Mecard Phoenix and then put in, you know, Junior or HG Phoenix, you'll see them come up, and this guy, the HG, is cheap, as in sub 25 quid. This one is like 25, 30. So if you want to get one of these figures, you want to get a proper transforming version of Turning Mecard or Mecard Phoenix, because obviously Mecard's now been released in the US. They've slightly rebranded it. They just call it Mecard, and now instead of these being Mecanimals, they're Mecardimals. But some of the characters are the same, and Phoenix is in the same in both shows. It's just the Korean show has been dubbed into English, and they've changed the names of some of the things and the characters. Like the teams you had in the original show, you've got Blue Land, Red Hall, and Black Mirror, whereas in the Mattel action version of the show, which is their branding of the English version of the show, they've changed the names of the teams. They've still got Red Hall, but they've got Blue City and Black Reef. And I think there was some copyright infringement going on there with some of the names. They've had to change them. But anyway, so I've got both versions of this figure. The Junior, it's all right, but I am mildly disappointed. I'm mildly disappointed in it could have done with some more paint. They could have maybe with the tail they could have put some extra hinges so that these pieces could fold up, kind of like they do on the back of this one. Yeah, and you know, some of these joints aren't the tightest on the wings. And then there's the price point. This guy is more expensive than the big guy. So if you was gonna buy one, I could strongly recommend going for the HG version, because it's a great figure. It's almost one-to-one scale with a small bird of prey. I mean, I don't know the actual size of something like say a Kestrel or a Hobby, but you know, this thing is pretty close to the size of a small bird of prey, whereas this probably more so the size of a sparrow or something. I don't know, maybe a starling or something. But yeah, a little disappointing. Obviously these figures you can pick them up for, you know, roundabouts or 25-30 quid, which is cheap, because most KTRT bots, the big robots, you know, they usually go out for like 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, depending on how new the figure is and what line it's from. Yeah, so I suppose I could do a more regular size comparison. There he is next to my usual size comparison figure, Mr. Combiner Wars leader Megatron. And so yeah, that's been my review of Turning Mecard Junior Phoenix. It's okay, it's all right. I mean, it transforms into a bird of prey from a little red car. It does that, but it is kind of disappointing. It's not quite as good as the HG version, which you can actually buy for less money. So there we go. That's been my review of that thing. I have got another KTRT bot which I will be doing a review on shortly, and there is some other bots I'm planning on buying tomorrow, some KO bots that I probably will be doing a review on as well, because they're kind of unusual and I think they're pretty cool, and we'll have to see about that. But that's something else I've got on the back burner. But anyway, that's all for now. I've been TFR Wilderness. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da!